With a preview, I'm joined now by CTV's Colton Prail. Colton, the Prime Minister has been on a pre-budget spending spree with all of these announcements. What's the latest that you can tell us on what you are learning he will be announcing today at CFB Trenton? More money for the military?
That's absolutely what we're expecting, Marcia. I mean, already he's announced $28 or so billion. The majority of that is in loans. And this is where things get tricky, because while he has been announcing all of this new funding, a lot of it has been in loans and in de-inflationary spending. It's actually an attempt to try to play within the fiscal constraints that Canada exists in, and that is a country with a significant amount of debt and a significant amount of debt charges. We're talking $40 billion worth of money just being used to service our debt right now. So whatever the federal government announces also needs to fit within the budgetary constraints that exist. But at the same time, we've been promising to up our military spending literally for decades. I mean, since 2006, Canada has been promising that we will eventually hit that 2% NATO target, and we are still so far off of that. To contextualize it, Canada is the only country in NATO that both misses the 2% spending target compared to GDP, but also misses the 20% spending target for defense budget on equipment and R&D. The only country in the more than 30-plus group that comprises NATO. That's not a great place to be in. And so the federal government for the last 2 years has been conducting a military spending review. They have committed to increasing our spending all the way up to just shy of $33 billion by 2026-27 from levels back around $19 billion in 2016-2017. This is in the plans. We are expecting some form of increase. Whether or not we see an increase that's going to get us to 2%, that's the big question mark, and it's highly unlikely. You don't want to be, Charlie running at the football believing that this is finally going to be the time only for it to be yanked out from under you. But there are some real concerns when it comes to Canada's military spending and the impacts of that. We're seeing it in the lack of deployment readiness. More than 40% of the forces aren't ready to be deployed immediately if called upon. We're seeing it in the equipment that our military uses, whether it's planes or ships. They are aging, and that aging infrastructure takes more time to become operational, to become efficient. We're seeing it in the production supply chain, whether it's creating armaments or creating artillery shells that could be shipped to Ukraine. There are massive slowdowns being reported over and over and over again. And it's not just the equipment or the military vehicles, it's the personnel itself. Our forces are short 16,000 regular or total members, more than 8,000 regular members. And so there is a real supply issue, whether it's people, whether it's arms, in our forces. And so the government knows they need to address this. They've been talking about addressing it for several years now. The big question mark, what we're waiting to see at 11:30 when they make this announcement, is just how much are they going to address it? Is it going to be a total solution? Unlikely, but how close can they get to one?
Colton, thanks for that. We'll check in with you later this morning. Still ahead.